Hi, welcome to the fourth episode of the Crafting Sparrow Podcast. My name is Amanda. I am a crafter, whether it's knitting, crocheting, cross-stitching, or hopefully sewing. I'm here to talk to you about it for anybody that's interested, and I hope you guys grab something to drink or a little snack and just cozy up and listen. It's been a while since my last episode. I try to do these at least once a month, so technically I'm on time. I think the last one that I recorded was a little over, it was in October, but it was towards the end. And I had a lot of adventures between now and then. My husband and I went on our anniversary trip to the cabin, which I'll speak more about at the end if you're interested. And I got to go to a yarn shop, which was really cool. I'll show you some of the things I got from there and what I'm making with them. And we'll get started with my finished objects. I have just two of them. So let me grab those. Oh, also, I know with every episode that I've had, the background's probably changed quite a bit. I'm still kind of figuring out how all this is going to be set up. I've got kind of a restricted amount of space for where to put my camera. So I'm just kind of working around my office area in my living room. So let me know what you guys think about this background. I've got my nice festive Christmas tree, of course, in the back, which I really like that with the lights and stuff shining. And I've also got a new mic, so if the audio seems messed up or anything, just let me know. I still have to play around with that kind of admin stuff. You good? I started talking and she immediately freaks out. My cat goes crazy when I podcast, apparently. Anyway, so yeah, I hope that everything looks good, sounds good, but anyway, let's actually get started with some of this. So, last time, one of my works in progress was the Seasons Change cardigan with the We Are Knitters Pima cotton, and I have finished it. It's here. It's got a beautiful leaf motif to it that repeats all across the back, and the sleeves are also made from that motif. The bottom of the arm is just stockinette, but the top is the leaf motif. And let me try to put it on. I've got a sweatshirt on, but let's see. Just so you guys can see what it looks like on. It's super nice. It's very lightweight because it's cotton. And that's really nice for the climate of the middle like region of South Carolina, because it doesn't get very cold. It just has it's like garter as the collar all around, and I still need to block it, believe it or not. It's been done for like 3 weeks, haven't blocked it, but I have been wearing it. And yeah, it's got these really flowy sleeves. And the back. Oh, I love it. And it's very airy, and I've enjoyed wearing it with like dresses because it's super long. Yeah. It's very long and very oversized, and it's been a pleasure to wear. I made it out of, like I said, We Are Knitters Pima cotton in the colorway copper, and I did the extra large size with my 4.5 millimeter needles. I did make some pretty big alterations to it. last time I talked about how I was enjoying working it flat, and I did. I really enjoyed working it flat, and that's how I did the body of it, as the pattern called. But I wasn't too thrilled about working the sleeves flat, because not only would you be working it flat like doing purling and knitting, which is, again, the part I didn't mind, you would have to seam the rectangle of the arm together on itself and seam it onto the body. I was not thrilled about that. So what I did was I 3-needle binded off the shoulders, this part right here. I 3-needle binded that off on both sides, and it left the sleeve holes, and I just picked up stitches and knit them around. It's so much easier than seaming to me. Again, I wouldn't have minded purling and all that if working in flat, but I am not somebody who likes to seam. Like, when I found out about working sweaters, like raglan or yokes, like in the round seamless top bottom, I was so happy. Because the first garment that I ever made was flat all the way through, and I had such a hard time doing mattress stitch or whip stitch, whichever one it was. And I guess I haven't gotten over that. But yeah. And this is from the Knit Stitch. Yeah, this is from the Knit Stitch. And I started following them on Instagram, and they have a lot of different patterns with this leaf motif. They're all really, really pretty. And also, I guess I forgot to mention another alterations. I did twisted rib on the cuffs. I really like twisted rib. I like how it looks like more textured, but it doesn't match the collar or the bottom. Is just a 1x1 right there. So it doesn't match, but I don't care. And also, I'm really sloppy with like weaving in my ends. Like, you can clearly see that right there. That's my sleeve, or my ends being weaved in. But, you know, I just figured it's mine. I don't really care about those things, honestly. But yeah. Look at it. I love it. Yeah, that's all I really got to say about that. I have like 2.5 balls of that Pima cotton, and I've been trying to think about what I want to make with it. I'm thinking maybe I could do towels, or I don't know how much you would typically need a worsted weight yarn to make like a pillowcase, but I think they'd be really cute as like a copper accent pillow too. I might keep that in mind. That literally just popped up in my mind right now. I was thinking about doing like dishcloths or something with it, because cotton is really good for that kind of thing, and that color it'd look really nice with all my stuff. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any ideas for, I think hold on. I have, basically 3 whole ones of these, and it's 232 yards, 100 grams. Let me know any ideas for what I could make with them. Might be interesting. So yeah, there's this as my first finished object. And my second finished object is this is my second Musselburgh hat. I know it's been pretty popular recently on Instagram and even like knitting podcasts. A lot of people have been doing these. And I see why. The first time I did this was, I didn't even write it down in my knitting journal because I don't remember. I think it was early this year, or yeah, it had to be early this year. I made one, and I love it. It's like a mustard yellow. Anyway, my husband also really liked it. So when we went to that local knitting store, I grabbed some yarn for a sweater that I'll talk about in a second, but I also told him, if you want me to make one, pick out any of these fingering weight yarns on the wall, and I'll make you one of my Musselburgh hats for you. And he picked out this beautiful, it's just like gray blues with browns and even some of it's like specks of green a bit. Very, I don't want to say masculine, but a very masculine color palette. I mean, I love it personally. I'll show you in a second. I'm making this, using it as some of my heel toes and cuffs for socks that I'm making. I'll get to that. Anyway, yeah, this is my Musselburgh, or well, Tyler's Musselburgh hat. Yep. And y'all, I knit this entire thing, and it was too big for him. I knit it completely once, and I finished it, and I put it on my head, and I was like, oh, yeah, I did not gauge this right. The thing was like, you see how wide this is? It was probably like that wide. Way too big. And he's got an enormous skull. So, yeah, I had to rip it all completely out and remake it. I don't know why my gauge wasn't right the first time. I thought I did it right. And the pattern is very, like, intuitive, I would say. It's literally just you do the increases until you can get a gauge swatch, and so I did, and I don't know why I got my gauge to be so off, but I did. It happens. Oh well, actually something good came out of it, because the yarn, it was, the pigment was coming off a lot. Actually, let me show you what I mean. So I use Takumi Clover's interchangeable bamboo needles, and this is the color that they usually are, right? When I was knitting his Musselburgh hat the first time, it dyed them. Can you see the difference there? Let me zoom in my camera. Right. So this is the color they usually are. This one right here. And this was originally the same color. Look how much darker it is. What is that? Why? Why is it? I don't know if bamboo is just more susceptible to like picking up pigment than like, you know, metal. I don't think it would stick to metal. Or if the dye was just over. I don't know anything about dyeing, so I'm probably not anywhere close to saying this right, but like the pigment was loose on it or something and it rubbed off onto my needles. It's no big deal, because I mean, it's happened with another yarn that I made a sweater for my brother for Christmas last year, and it was a dark blue, and it dyed those needles dark blue, and since then the pigment's come off of my needles. But anyway, so I was actually worried about it like rubbing off onto like other things like his clothes or in the washer or whatever. But once I ripped out the first hat that I made and balled it up and re-knit it, the second time it wasn't as bad. So it's almost like I knit the first hat for a reason. There's a reason for everything, and I guess that reason was to get some of the pigment off. I mean, I like wet block it and everything afterwards. Like I did some wool wash and everything. And what was crazy was I was expecting that water that it was washing into dye as well, and I'm telling you, ripping it out and re-knitting it did the trick, because there wasn't any kind of coloration in the water. Blew my mind, but oh well. And also the yarn, I lost the label for it. I think it was Montana something. It was definitely dyed in Montana. Like that's where the dyer was from. I don't remember the colorway name or anything. Here, this is the yarn. Sorry. I like to shout people out when I can, but I don't know where that. I purposely folded it nicely and I put it somewhere, and it's like I hid it from myself because I can't find it. I like rummaged through. I've got like a million palette and city tweed labels stuffed away in my little crafting crate. And I mentally didn't put it in there because I wanted to find it later, and here I am losing it anyway. Anyway, so yeah, that is my Musselburgh hat. That is my second finished object and my last one for this one. So on to my works in progress, or whips. I have 3 of them for you, although one of them you've seen before, and I'm actually going to put it on hold. I'll mention that in a second. But first, when I went to that yarn store after our cabin trip, this was what I was truly hunting for. Yarn that could make the beautiful Lumme sweater by, I think it's Sari Nordlund. I think her Instagram handle is Sari_N. All of my stuff will be in the description box below. Everybody that I mention, whether it's the pattern or if I can find the label of the yarn, like for the Musselburgh hat. But this stuff, I will definitely put like the yarn and everything. And I'll also put the store that I got this yarn from down there. When in doubt, check the description box because it'll be there. Anyway, this is the Lumme sweater. Y'all. I love this sweater. It's so pretty. It is a yoke top down, and you start with the ribbing on the collar. You do this beautiful color work. The pattern is so easy to read. I mean, personally, I think that yoke sweaters are always easy to read, and this was just as easy as any other one. They're all pretty straightforward, just increases in certain like areas of the color work, and they made it pretty easy as well. So anyway, yeah, I have the yoke finished. I have one sleeve. Yes, the color work is on the sleeve as well. I put the second sleeve on the needles. I hadn't started them yet. And I put the body on hold because I am one of those people that I would rather finish my sleeves first and then finish the body than the other way around for 2 reasons. One, I do have a little like impatient feeling whenever I've got the body done and then I've just got like sleeves I have to do. They just seem so insignificant compared to the body. So I just get the sleeves over with, and so when I finish the body, it's done. And also my second reasoning is I have a really hard time knitting on these like small circumference sleeves and having like this big body portion to just rotate around with it as you're knitting. And it's a lot easier to just knit those sleeves with less body mass on the sweater to move around with it. And when you're knitting the body, the circumference is so big that it's rotating a lot slower, and so it's not as big of a problem when your sleeves are completely done and you're working on the body. So that's my reasoning. I don't know. I've actually seen a lot of podcasters mention that they also like to do that. They like to do the sleeves first and finish the body. And usually what I do is I'll just finish whatever skein of yarn I'm on after I've split for the sleeve. And that way I don't have a lot of balls of yarn hanging from my sweater as I try it on with the sleeves and stuff. So yeah, that's what I do. I did use the recommended needle sizes for this pattern. They have 3, one for the ribbing, one for the color work, and one for just stockinette. And I was very skeptical about doing that just because I thought I was already a fairly loose knitter. Even when I'm working color work, I tend to frequently stretch out my stitches as I'm going because that's what I learned to do when I first did color work. And all the color work that I've done tend to have pretty good tension and everything. So I just did one size for the body and the color work, and whenever I got a couple rows into the stockinette or the color work yoke, I realized that my tension was actually tighter than usual. And I tell you why. This is 100% wool, but it's superwash wool. It's very, very squishy and stretchy, and I think that I think the stretchiness of the yarn was throwing my tension off. I don't know. Half the time I feel like I'm speaking out of my ass, but maybe there's some truth in that. I don't know. But yeah, so anyway, I ripped that out. and redid it with just the recommended yarn needles, and it turned out great. And I'll tell you the yarn that I used. When I went to the store, by the way, the name of the store was Knitter's Niche. It's spelled like knitter, like you would expect, but niche is actually Knitch, and I thought that was super clever and adorable. Anyway, we went there. It was on the way home, and this lovely lady helped me pick out. I showed her what pattern I wanted, and I said, it needs to be worsted weight. I want to do 3 different colors, and I told her what kind of fibers I tend to use and which I tend to stray away from, and that I was kind of on a budget. I mean, it was going to be a splurge sweater anyway, but I don't want to spend like $200, $300 on really luxurious yarn. And she pointed me to quite a few. There was one alpaca yarn that I thought was so pretty. It was like very lustrous, and I'm a fan of alpaca. One of my first like sweaters I made was alpaca, and I'm obsessed with it. But she showed me this. It's Berroco Ultra Wool, and one of the things that I told her was that I don't typically like superwash wool. I have various reasons why. I mean, obviously the environment, but also the last superwash wool that I got was very plasticky feeling. The thing I made out of it I still like. I don't use it very often, but I tend to stray more towards more, not itchy, but toothy natural wools. I just like it better. It makes me happy, and typically it smells more like sheep. So anyway, she showed me this, and I noticed that it was superwash. It was very economically friendly, you know, for how much is there and everything. But it feels so good. Even though it's superwash, it doesn't feel plasticky, and I love it. So this is a new wool brand for me, Berroco, and I've seen a couple other podcasters using it. I don't know where it's from. Let me see. Peru. Okay. Yeah, it's 100% superwash wool, 100% lane superwash. I don't know what any of that means, but I like it. So yeah, it's 100 grams, 219 yards, worsted weight. The Lumme sweater actually only calls for 2 colors, the body, like main color, and then another contrast color for the colorwork details. But I was looking through the projects that other people had for this sweater, and there was one that had just the leaf of it was green, and then they had a different color for the other parts of the colorwork, and I was like, my mind blew. I loved it. I had to do it. So yeah, I got my main color is this really, really dark chocolatey brown, and they don't have like special color names. It's just the dark brown one. I could give you the code for the color, but I mean, are you really gonna look it up? You'll probably pick colors that you want anyway. So I have this dark chocolatey brown for the main color. The majority of my color work is in this really like heathery gray. Yeah, that's really the only thing I can describe it with. It's a very heathery gray. And then the leaf part of the colorwork motif is this sprucey, very Christmas tree green, and I love it. So yeah, these 3 together makes, ta-da! I was very surprised at how well the sweater itself fits. It doesn't have any short row shaping on the neck at all. And one of my cats is playing with a cabinet in the kitchen, and I will be right back. this is the troublemaker. This is Ashley. Last time you guys saw the black one, Lucy. This is the yin of the yin and yang. I just made that up. There's no reason for me to tell you that, but anyway, she has been with me since I was in 6th grade. I don't know how old I was then, but like 2008. She's my old lady. I tell everybody that I've known her longer than my husband, which is saying something because we have been together for like 11 years. Yep. Anyway, why are you in cabinets? Okay. So yeah, there's my Lumme sweater. That is my my first work in progress, right? I think. Yes, because I haven't talked to you about my scarf I'm designing, which I have decided to name the Sari scarf. I will not be working on this for a while because of the holiday season. And also, this thing has been a real pain in the booty. I love it, but I've ripped it back 3 times. I guess that's the struggle of designing your own thing. But I'm kind of tired of it, and I don't want to like hate every step, every row that I make, because I'm tired of it. So I'm giving it a break. I've never put anything in the naughty corner, as people have said. But this one is going in the naughty corner. I love it. Again, it's adorable. And it will eventually go out there in the world. But another reason why I decided to put it on hold is because I've only got one cord. I think they're 12-inch cords. It's what I'm putting my sleeves on. It's like that big. It's not like this tiny 9-inch circulars for socks. It's like the smallest regular cord that you can get for interchangeables, I think. But yeah, I've only got one of those, and I knew I needed to use them for the sleeves. And then also I've got some future plans that are going to require me to use that one too, that I'll talk about at the end here for my future plans. But yeah, so I just decided to put that on hold because the other things I'm making with it are a little bit more time sensitive, because they're for Christmas. And also, this is kind of time sensitive as well because I really want to wear this for Thanksgiving with my family. Because I think it'd be really cute with like a dress and some leggings and like some boots. I think it'd be really cute. And also, I want people to notice my new sweater. It reminds me of a podcaster that I really like, Tink and Bobble. If you haven't seen her, please go check her out. She's wonderful and quirky, and she just puts a smile on my face. She was talking about her Cleo cardigan and how she was excited to wear it for her wedding because she's like, people will notice it and they will like it and I will tell them that I made it. It's like, I love that energy. Anyway, so yeah, that was my second works in progress. Again, not a lot I talked about there because I'm putting it on hold, and also I'm designing it and I don't want to share too much about it yet. But so that leads to my last works in progress. This is mint tea, by the way. It's nothing special. That's why I didn't think to tell you what it was. I swear sometimes I watch podcasts and everybody's got the fanciest tea in the world. And I'm like, I have mint tea. Okay, so this is my last works in progress. I literally just cast this on like last night, and majority of it was worked on this morning when I went to the grocery store. It's a sock. So I mentioned in one of my old podcast episodes, I think it was my second one, I made my first toe-up sock, and those came out fine, but what I was talking about is I'm trying to find my go-to sock pattern. I've only ever made heel flap and gusset socks, and I'm gonna be honest with you, none of them have turned out that great. I've worn them like in my boots and everything, and they're fine, I guess, but they're always one, too big, and two, the heel just doesn't work. And I've tried different like heel flap like widths and heights and everything else, and I just don't like them. I don't like them. Honestly, I don't even like the technique that much. I don't like having to put my big corded needles for Magic Loop to do the heel flap and gusset, having to do all those decreases and weird wrap and turns, and I just honestly don't like it that much. And I think that's one of the reasons why I don't make that many socks. And I've come to find that I like wearing my hand-knit socks out. I found a pair of boots that I can actually wear them in, and they look good. But I don't like my socks. I've worn them anyway, but... So anyway, I thought I would try the afer-thought heel, which is what this will be. I really like the idea of it, and I've seen some other people's, like, what their heels end up looking like, and I think that it'll fit my heel a lot better, I hope. I also kind of like cutting my work. I blame steeking. I find it very exhilarating, and I think it'll be really cool to snip one of these little things and open up the heel and start over again. Yeah, so I'm gonna try my first afer-thought heel. I really like the idea of just knitting a tube. It's really nice to just bring, like, in the car ride to work and back, because I carpool with my husband, so I just knit in the car the whole time. But I don't like working on complicated things in the car. So this will be good to do as well. And I want more socks to wear with my boots. So, okay, so anyway, yeah, I'm gonna do afer-thought heel. I watched a couple of videos on how to do it. There was one that showed me how to do the lifelines and like putting a scrap piece of yarn through and coming back later, but that's not really truly just an afer-thought heel, because you kind of already have to think about where the heel's going. So I looked up some tutorials for like true afer-thought heels, and I found Knitty Natty's video for it, and it was super helpful. It made me feel really confident about it. She goes step by step, really good close-ups of her socks, and I think that I think I can do this. And I think it's gonna work out. And she even was talking about how, like, when she first tried it, she, you know, it didn't fit perfectly, and she showed you different ways that you can change that. Or was that the other video that I watched? I don't know. As you can tell, my brain is very scattered. I have like a million things on my desk right now, and it's stressing me out just a little bit. Anyway, so I don't know which video that was in, but one of those videos helped me. The Knitty Natty one's the one that I'm gonna follow, though, where she actually goes in and cuts a strand of her yarn, and that's where she puts her heel in. And again, I will put that video down below as well. And the yarn that I'm using for this, the toe is the same as my husband's Musselburgh hat, and that will be my heel and my cuff. The body of the sock is this old knit crate yarn that I got forever ago. It's a cashmere nylon sock thing that they gave me for a sock crate, and I am fully aware that I will probably not have enough to make 2 socks, but I'm also fully aware that my first attempt at this will not be perfect, and this yarn has already been ripped out from an old pair of socks that I made, so I'm really not too attached to it. I just kind of want to see how it turns out. If it only makes 1 sock and I write down everything that I did, I can just use this as like a pattern sock for my go-to afer-thought heel sock. Yeah, and also I don't think I've ever said anything about my stitch markers on the podcast, but this is a little mushroom. How do I do this? There you go. It's a little mushroom that I made out of poly clay. Polymer clay. I think that's the word. Let me get it zoomed in with this. Isn't it cute? It's just a little mushy. And I put some embroidery floss on it. It's like a tassel. And I got just like a pack of these like earring things, and I attached it to it. I got quite a few that I made. This one's my favorite though that I made. Oh, and then also this was one of my first stitch markers that I got. Well, custom ones anyway, not the plastic ones. Anyway, I got it from Knit Crate. It was one of the like extra things that they gave you in your Knit Crate. It's a little star. It's actually glow in the dark. I don't know if there's any way that I can show you that. Probably not. So yeah, those are my stitch markers on this. And when I get through like how far I think would be good for my foot, I'm gonna go back and like mark out every 10 stitch. But I don't like doing that as I go because it's just a lot of clinking around, and I like feeling the fabric instead of stitch markers. So yeah, hopefully that will be eventually will be my go-to sock pattern for like stockinette stuff. And hopefully afer-thought heels will be my go-to heel as well. I decided to go toe up instead of cuff down because I really liked my last sock pattern that I showed you was Brenda's basic toe up sock. I think that was the name. I found out that I really like doing toe up better because first of all, I like doing a special bind off for the cuff. I feel like I have a lot more control on how it feels on my calf. And second of all, I like the rounded toe of the Judy's cast on. I don't know. I just like it better. Oh, also, this was Knitty Natty. I can confirm this because I remember her talking about it. Usually when I do increases for a toe, or any increase really for a sock, whether it's probably, I'm used to talking about the heel flap and gusset, I think, is where you do increases. Anyway, they do the left leaning increase where you pick up the piece of yarn between your right needle and left needle. Like you pick it up a certain way, it goes left leaning, right leaning. Usually that's how you do your increases. But for this, she was talking about doing knit in front and back, which I love doing. That's what I do for like shawls and stuff. And I don't know why I never thought about doing that for my toes. And I love it, and that's what I will do from now on. So thank you, Knitty Natty, for that. Because yeah, that's amazing. It's so much easier in my opinion, because you just basically knitting a stitch twice. Yeah, so those are my whips. As far as future plans go, I am going to make stockings for me and my husband. I've already got the yarn ordered. Shocker, it's Knit Picks palette. Because I love that yarn. It's cheap, and they were having a sale, and they've got a lot of colors, and I like the way it feels. Yeah, so actually, it was super cheap, now that I think about it. I think it actually was cheaper for once to buy the yarn and make it than to actually buy the item. Because capitalistic America likes to jack up prices for things like stockings, I'm sure. I actually haven't checked, but I can see them making one pair of stockings like $50. I would not be surprised. And this was cheaper than that. And I'm gonna have fun making it. I still haven't figured out how to put photos on my screen because I use Windows products and not Apple products, and apparently Apple products have an easy video editing software that you can throw pictures up on, but I can't find one for Windows. So I still can't show you. But I will put a description down below on what I'm talking about, and you can look at it if you want. But I am going to make let me find it on my computer, the Snowy Mountain sock and the Holiday Chalet sock from Ursula Almeida. She's got a bunch. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 patterns, 8 different colored patterns for these stockings, and they're all like similar, but they're different, and I love them. Some of them are really like cookies and gingerbread. Some of them are like a truck with a Christmas tree on the back. They're adorable. And the recommended yarn is Knit Picks palette, which works perfectly. But yeah, they're just your classic red, green, and white stockings. Well, that's the colors I'm gonna pick. They have like snowflake motifs. The one I'm doing for my husband's just got pine trees because he loves and he works with pine trees. And I picked out one that has like a cute little cozy cabin on it and little cups with like steam coming off of them and like a little city. And yeah, that's gonna be mine because it's cozy looking and I wanted it to be different than my husband's because I wanted to be able to tell them apart. So yeah, that's my future plans and that's all my projects. If you want to stick around, I don't have any more tea, but hopefully you still have something to drink. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I have been watching, reading, a little bit about my cabin trip with my husband, and also I think I'm going to put a couple of like videos and pictures of some of the stuff that we saw down there. And yeah, so if you are going to head out, thank you for listening. This episode seems to have had a lot of craziness rambling on, but I appreciate you listening anyway. If you want to see more of what I've been knitting in between, I do have an Instagram. It is the Crafting Sparrow. I have a Ravelry, but I don't really use it for like project, like writing down what I've done for my project because I use a notebook. I also find it very difficult to remember to write things down in Ravelry, so I decided I won't be doing that. But you can friend me if you want. Can people be friends in Ravelry? I don't know. You could try. I'll accept if I have to. Yeah, so again, thank you for listening to this. And I'm going to start talking about what I have been reading and watching and doing. So, first of all, reading. Last time I talked about me reading, what is it called? Six of Crows. That's it. It's actually a duology. It's not trilogy, it's a duology because there's two in the series. It's the Six of Crows and the Crooked Kingdom. I am on the Crooked Kingdom now, and I still love it, and I'm still obsessed with Casberger. Seriously, I recommend these books if you're somebody who likes to read, I guess it's fantasy, because it's not like modern day, and also if you like the main character to be not a perfect Captain America role model. Everybody's a little bit twisted, and I love it. It makes for interesting reading. And there's also like so many other books in that universe that you can read, and I plan on reading. Shadow and Bone, which has a Netflix series that I am excited to watch after I read the books. And there's another one, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's all in the same universe, and it's kings and armies and that kind of fantasy stuff, and I like that stuff. And if you do too, I recommend them. Maybe we can read them at the same time. Who knows? Yeah, I've been really enjoying that. I just read it right before I go to sleep. So it's pretty slow going. And as far as watching goes, I finished Seinfeld quickly, as you can imagine, as somebody who binge watches shows. I loved it. The last episode was not what I was expecting at all. And I know it's an old show, but I won't spoil it just in case somebody was like me and is only just now getting around to watching it. That's all I'll say is it was just not what I was expecting. I may end up rewatching it sometime in the future, probably not as frequent as I do The Office. And so after I finished that, I decided to rewatch the Harry Potter movies just because Peacock has all of them, and they're there, and it's kind of Harry Potter season. I've only actually watched them one time, like from start to finish in my lifetime. I've only ever done that once, so this will be my second full rewatch. And it's sad. It's a sad series. Everybody dies. Also, I've been watching Critical Role Campaign 3 because I have been very interested in Dungeons & Dragons recently. I have a dear friend that decided to DM for me and my friend group over Discord, and it has been amazing. I love it. I love my character. I love everybody else's character. And so yeah, it got me really into Dungeons and Dragons. And I knew Critical Role was out there. I tried listening / watching the first campaign and couldn't get into it. Maybe it was because the audio was so bad. And I know people have said to get past it because it gets better, but if I don't want to, I won't. So anyway, I've been watching the third campaign because they just started it. That's been nice to just they're 4 hours long each week, and so I just kind of drag it out throughout the week. I love it. So that's what I've been watching. I've also been playing lots of Animal Crossing. I've always been a big Nintendo nerd. Zelda games, Mario games. I love all of them. I've had a Nintendo console all throughout my life, whether it be originally the GameCube or the Game Boy Color. I didn't have a Wii, but I don't think I really missed out much on that. But yeah, I have a Switch, and I have been playing the crap out of Animal Crossing. I restarted my island because of the update, and I have a lot of work to do. So if any of you guys play Animal Crossing, hit me up on Instagram and we can be friends and we can send each other cute things. I think that'd be fun. Yeah, been doing that. That's been taking a lot of my time, honestly. I haven't knit as much as I probably could have because of that. I've been doing that, and that's pretty much it. I mean, we put up our Christmas stuff, but we haven't really decorated it yet. It's just got... Oh, now she's being an angel. Look at her. We haven't put ornaments up yet, and we're also going to put Christmas lights up outside for the first time at our own place, and I'm excited. Because we lived in apartments before here, and they don't have outlets outside, and usually they have rules about, certain things you can put outside. So we haven't really bothered at the apartments, but we have a porch, an actual porch with an outlet out there, and our landlords love Christmas, so I'm excited. Anyway, probably gonna do that tonight, hopefully. Yeah. Oh, and the cabin trip was so amazing, and we did nothing, and I loved it. We had a cabin up near Blue Ridge, North Carolina, that we rented out on the Tacoma River, and we just had a fire inside on the wood-burning stove and just sat around, and my husband had some stuff to do for his master's degree that he's working on, and so he did a lot of that. I did a lot of knitting, a lot of Animal Crossing. We went down to the river every now and then, but it was kind of cold and dreary. He didn't catch any fish. He was hoping to, but he did not. But it was still really pretty. If I can figure out how to put up videos that I took on my phone, I will try to add those at the end of the river. I do have some videos that I took with my Canon of the fireplace, and it's so nice. It was so cozy. I had these big oversized pajama pants on and nice thick socks, and just putting our little toes up to the fire. So cozy. We love having fires. We can't have them here, but one day we'll have a house that we can have a fire anytime we want. We will get there. What else? Oh, there was a little town nearby, Blue Ridge, downtown Blue Ridge, not North. Did I say y'all North Carolina? It's Georgia. It's right next to North Carolina, but it's in Georgia. Yeah, so Blue Ridge, Georgia, they had a cute little downtown area, and we just kind of walked down there. We're not really good at shopping, if that makes any sense. We like to walk in at stores and look at things, and when we see something we want, we end up just telling ourselves we don't need it. And my husband saw a really nice jacket in one of the outfitters they had down there, and I mean, you could tell that he wanted it, but he didn't get it. And then the whole rest of the day, that next day, he was just thinking about how he should have gotten it. So we went back before we left. We went back down really early in the morning, and there was nobody out there. Half the shops weren't even open yet. We went and grabbed coffee at is this local coffee shop. It's called Das Coffee. It was like the coffee house in German, I think, or some language close to German. It was really good. I had their pumpkin spice latte, but it was like named in their language, and that was the best pumpkin flavored coffee I think I've ever had. My husband saved the plastic cup that they gave us because it was cute. So we got coffee there, and it was raining, and the shop that his jacket was in wasn't open for another like 30 minutes. So we just walked around in the rain. They have like a train that people can take that takes you around the Tacoma River, and we just sat there and watched people get into the train and wave people by as they left. But we really liked it. It's the weird thing is most people, they go downtown for like the atmosphere of the people around you and, you know, being in a city, but we much preferred it to be raining and barely seeing anybody and half the shops being not open. That's just us. I don't know if you are the same way, but we like low-key situations and dreary weather. I guess. Yeah, we had a lovely time. It was so peaceful, and it was a much needed break from doing things like work and just unraveling, you know? I think that it's become a tradition that we find a cabin to rent out somewhere and on our anniversary, and I love that tradition. I love it. We've only ever been to two, technically. It was our third wedding anniversary, but our first anniversary we went to Biltmore, the Biltmore house in North Carolina. I don't know if any of you guys know that, but it's really pretty, and they have beautiful gardens, and that's where we went on our honeymoon. So it was just kind of like we're just going back to see it again on our 1 year anniversary. But our second anniversary, we went to Candler, North Carolina, and then this year we went to, I think it's technically Mineral Bluff, Georgia, but it was really close to probably more well-known Blue Ridge, Georgia. Yeah, we really enjoyed it. And that's all that I have to talk about, I think. That's all we've really been doing is playing Animal Crossing, knitting a bit and working. Husband's been playing Skyrim again. And yeah, hanging out, waiting for Thanksgiving so we can eat a bunch of turkey. Do you guys have any plans for Thanksgiving if you celebrate it? Maybe you can mention in the comments what you celebrate, how you celebrate, what your favorite thing is. I personally love the pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie. Yeah. We're going up to see our family on Thanksgiving. We have always done this since we've been together. We do his family during lunch and then my family in the evening, which works out perfectly because my family, for some reason, likes to eat at like 8 o'clock at night. I don't know why, but it works out because we're still digesting our food from late lunch, 12 or 1 o'clock usually. Many years of practicing portion control on that day while still maximizing the amount of food that you can eat. Getting all the flavors that you actually care about, skipping the cranberry sauce and going extra on the stuffing. So yeah, I really hope that you guys, those who celebrate the American Thanksgiving, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. It's such a great holiday. One of my favorites personally, because you bond over food. But yeah, so that's all I have to share with you guys today. I really enjoy sitting here and staring at my camera lens and just blabbering into the void. Quite literally, into the black void of my camera lens. Hello, void. My tea is cold and pretty much gone, and I should probably be drinking water, so I'm gonna head out here. Again, if you want to see more about what I have been making, what I am doing, my cats sometimes make appearance, go to my Instagram, give me a follow. I am the Crafting Sparrow. It will be down below in the description. And also, if you want to subscribe here, this is the first time I've asked people, like and subscribe. I give you random videos every once in a while. If you like that, subscribe. Yeah, and again, my Ravelry, if you want. And I think that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna go put up Christmas music. Put up Christmas lights and play Christmas music. Alright, I think I should leave now. Bye!